This is the GERM Report for the week of August 3rd. Zealots, radicals, and extremists are waging war on the U.S. energy sector. That was the message last week from U.S. President Trump, who visited the Texas oil patch to proclaim energy dominance and energy independence were here. Both of those things are fantasies. In June, the Texas Alliance of Energy Producers revised its so-called Petro Index, which measures the health of the oil and gas economy in the state, to its lowest point since the last price crash in 2014 to 2016. Carr Ingham is the head of the alliance. He said the pandemic was a gut punch to the oil and gas sector. Total U.S. crude oil production, meanwhile, is down some 7.5% from this time last year. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas estimates the range at which Texas shale producers would break even would be between about $23 and $70 per barrel, with the medium falling somewhere around $50 per barrel. The last time West Texas Intermediate, the U.S. benchmark for the price of oil, closed above $50 per barrel was in late February, long before the pandemic struck the United States. But rather than express concern over the economic collapse, the president blamed his political opponents and foreign producers for damaging the U.S. energy sector. "We will never again," he said, "be reliant on hostile foreign suppliers." But energy independence is a myth. Despite a week-on-week decline, the United States imported nearly 70% more crude oil from Saudi Arabia in the 4-week period ending July 24th than it did during the same period last year. With courts blocking the export-dominant Keystone XL pipeline, the president gave the approval for TC Energy to send an estimated 29% more Canadian barrels through the existing Keystone network. Despite some overhauls, many of the U.S. refineries are tooled to process heavier crudes from abroad, not the light sweet stuff produced domestically. And with Saudi Arabia capable of pulling barrels out of the ground for around $3 a barrel, energy dominance too is a myth. It is Russia and Saudi Arabia that hold the global energy cards, not the United States. Marathon Petroleum during the weekend announced it would close down 2 small refineries in the U.S. Southwest. That's expected to create some 800 redundancies. Speaking after Trump's visit, Ed Longenecker, the president of the Texas Independent Producers and Royalty Owners Association, said some 40,000 jobs in the Texas upstream sector alone were lost during the first half of the year. And unemployment in general, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development finds the jobless rate among its 37 members is expected to hit 10% this year, double the rate from 2019. That could climb as much as 12% should, and this seems likely, a second pandemic wave hit. Though still on the payroll, the OECD estimated are working 10 times fewer hours than during the first months of the financial crisis of the middle aughts. Intent only counts for so much. The 24 or so parties to an OPEC-led program to keep barrels out of a depressed market started to relax during the weekend. Early reports indicate that much of the increase will be used for domestic consumption and not for exports, though how much refinery input can be expected amid recessionary strains is an open question. By way of example, the United States put some 14 million barrels per day into its refineries during the weekend ending July 24th. That's about 1% higher than the previous week, but some 17% lower than during the same period last year. The raw data paints a different picture than the president displays. The United States will remain at least somewhat dependent on foreign oil for the foreseeable future, and that has profound impacts on geopolitical affairs. A general strategy that prioritizes domestic economic revival in the United States could help explain the Trump administration's departure from the global stage. But does Trump's America bolster or hurt the notion of a Pax Americana? Thomas Hobbes in The Leviathan warned that a system without a dominant or overseer would make life nasty, brutish, and short. The end of the bipolar era that came after the collapse of the Soviet Union is morphing into a multipolar arena, though the demarcations are not yet clear. There is no global overseer anymore. And despite Trump's claims, there is no such thing as independence in the multilateral order. This has been the GERM Report for the week of August 3rd. I'm Dan Graber.